Hello and welcome to a late episode of Talkenn Movies. It is 10 minutes to 3 and Emily and I we just got back from catching Spider-Man Homecoming. And yeah, I like it a lot. Before we go any further, previously on Twitter I mentioned my top 5 comic book movies are The Dark Knight, Civil War, Winter Soldier, the first Iron Man, and the first Captain America, the first Avenger. So it is an interesting bit. Where does Homecoming come in that list? So I'll tell you at the end of the video. But first of all, I'll tell you I like the movie. It's an enjoyable, refreshing take on how superhero movies are supposed to be. The most recent superhero movie, which was Wonder Woman, was more on super gritty. They tried to go down the super realistic side of things, the horrifics of war in World War One, but in Homecoming, I read somewhere where people call it some sort of a teenage drama with a superhero twist, and I think that's the most apt way to describe it. I feel they took a different direction for Homecoming, but which is a good thing considering we are talking about Spider-Man. And the difference between the previous superhero movies compared to what Homecoming is about, I feel, it's that Spider-Man is all of us. It makes it appear as if how any of us would react if we were in Peter Parker's shoes, Peter Parker's suit, or Peter Parker's mask. Or even how we would react if our best friend was Spider-Man. And not a single moment during the whole movie did I feel it was a bit out of place. Except for that Zendaya's character, which I felt a bit try hard to appear kind of malicious or kind of sneaky. I felt they kind of overworked on it. But stay tuned, because towards the end of the movie there will be a reveal on who she is. I don't know whether if you read the reviews or some spoilers before this, but there will be a revealing on what her name is, which is a good thing. The action scenes are very, very interesting, intense, and I feel you can't help but watch Spider-Man Homecoming and then compare it with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and then Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Personally, I prefer Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man compared to Tobey Maguire, because I felt that it's more Peter Parker-ish. Because I felt the Tobey Maguire one was too comical. Andrew Garfield was a bit more down to, more on solid ground. But when you look at Tom Holland, the way he carried Peter Parker, that's Peter Parker. His goofiness, the way he reacts, the way he talks, that's Peter Parker if you read and if you follow the comic books. And if you read the comic books later on, where Peter Parker is already an adult and whatever, you can see him growing into that, which I don't see in Tobey Maguire Spider-Man nor Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Also want to point out that there's an evolution of how Spider-Man moves. In the first movie, we saw how it was with Sam Raimi, and then with Andrew Garfield, it looked more visceral and everything. And then you look at this Spider-Man from Tom Holland, the fact that he's a gymnast, and you can see how Spider-Man moves. If it's not an origin story compared to previous movies, we are sick of origin stories. Homecoming is not an origin story, you would have known that. But you would have seen Spider-Man learning his ropes with his new suit, falling awkwardly, falling into structures that follows physics, and you don't see that in previous movies. And I think it's a great take on how Spider-Man is learning his ropes without going down the whole retelling story bit. Nothing was touched on Ben Parker, which is great. I don't think it's a spoiler, but I don't think I heard a single line that goes, with great power comes great responsibility. Before the movie came out, everyone was saying it's going to be another Robert Downey Jr. / Tony Stark / Iron Man movie. It's not. The trailers, yes, you have lots of Iron Man in it, but the presence of Tony Stark in it is that it's not to steal the screen. It's actually to really support what Tom Holland / Peter Parker / Spider-Man is. Going back to the action, the movement of Spider-Man felt, I don't know, you can't make it any real than that. And the suit, which is developed by Tony Stark, you know that already if you watch Civil War. It shows an evolution of Peter Parker getting, even though he knows his powers, but there are more to the suit than what he has. And speaking of the suit, stay tuned. You will notice a really cool bit towards the end of the movie. So that's what I thought of the movie. I thought it's brilliant. I thought it's a fresh take of comic book movies. I feel that puts, I mean, with all respect to Tobey Spidey and Garfield Spidey, they were great Peter Parker, but Tom Holland is the Peter Parker. And Spider-Man Homecoming is the best Spider-Man movie. Take away the whole graphics and whatever. It's all about story. It's all about retelling and the personality of Peter Parker. And I feel Tom Holland reflects that the best. A lot of Easter eggs in the movie. If you keep your eyes peeled, keep your ears open, you will notice certain references. Also scenes. I wouldn't spoil it for you, but do, if you want to know the timing, there is a few jumps in it, but the story is linear. It's easy to understand. If you know the origin of Peter Parker and Spider-Man, you will enjoy it. If you do not, you will still enjoy it. And towards the end, stay past the credits, because that's always a good payback. Patience, you will be rewarded for your patience. And watch the movie. And what did I say? Oh yeah, where does Homecoming slip in that list? I would put it number 6, really. I mean, I will personally, you can't, it's still not to the levels of the Dark Knight, which is, nothing beats that. And then there's Civil War, which is pretty much the combination of everything of, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And then Winter Soldier, which is my favorite Captain America movie. Although Civil War is Captain America movie, but then again, Winter Soldier is a brilliant spy movie. And then you go to Origin, which is the first jigsaw puzzle into it, which is the first Iron Man movie. And then the origin of Captain America, the first Avenger. So Homecoming comes right number 6. I think it's much more fun to watch compared to, there's a lot of zaniness in it, there's a lot of action, so a little bit of everything piled into one. And if I'm going to give it a rating out of 10, I'll easily 8.5 and above. Not a 9. I wouldn't say there are a lot of cringy moments. There's no cringy moments in it. And yeah, it does transport you into the suit of Peter Parker as Spider-Man. And I thought that makes it great. So that's what I think of Spider-Man Homecoming. Watch it. Movie comes out today, I guess. If you're still afraid of, you don't know whether you're going to get tickets or whatever, just head on to MBO, Starling Mall. It's always empty. So that's me for now. The whole YouTube Jingbang, like, subscribe, and do drop me your thoughts in the comments below. And I'll see you guys later.